Hey, I'm Deontay Jenkins, and here's what's on my mind. All That Jazz is such an amazing piece of work. It's a very loosely autobiographical film by the director, Bob Fosse. Famous for stage plays such as Chicago and films such as Cabaret, Bob Fosse is at the height of his game in All That Jazz. But this film is heightened reality. It's an autobiography seen through a kaleidoscope. Take, for instance, the opening scene. Bob Fosse says,
How would you yourself describe what you did in the opening sequence of All That Jazz?
Well, I tried to use a documentary style, first of all. And it is what my life has been since the time I was 25 years old. It's been those sort of auditions that I refer to as a cattle call.
Which is interesting because it comes out so stylized. I mean, everything in this film is stylized. The cuts are attention-grabbing. The camera movement is mesmerizing. Everything about this scene feels like the director's style is at the forefront. Yet somehow he's not wrong. It does feel like a documentary. It feels like a documentary in the sense that I can tell that this is what a cattle call for Broadway in the 70s felt like. Bob Fosse was a showman, so even when he's trying to document something, he does it with style. But that doesn't mean that he shies away from the truth.
I've seen many film auditions of one kind or another, acted in a few films that had auditions, and they've been so unrealistic that I tried very hard to show an audience exactly what happens.
It's a beautiful expression of style and excess, yet never loses the honesty that was the goal of the director when shooting this film. But all of this film has style. This is my favorite moment from this film, and that's because it hits home so hard for me. It's when Roy Scheider's Joe Gideon is having a table read with his cast, crew, and producers. And just as his script is being read, this happens. I myself am an artist who has presented their work to people before. I've sat in table reads where people are dissecting every word that I've written. I've had people analyze my photography. I've sat in theaters while people watch my films. And I can tell you, this is a perfect representation of how it feels. And I think you can relate to this even if you aren't an artist. If you've ever had to present anything, if you've ever had to do any kind of public speaking, if you've ever made yourself vulnerable and open to criticism, you understand the feeling that Bob Fosse created in this moment and the anxiety that Joe Gideon is feeling. Now, the final thing I want to talk about is the ending of the film, and there's your spoiler warning if you haven't seen it. Joe Gideon feels as if he is not working hard enough, as if he's not giving enough to his work. But he has also become death obsessed. He's both literally and figuratively been flirting with death this entire film. And if you've noticed, the more he flirts with death, the clearer she becomes.
You're a flirt.
And it's not until the end that we realize that the woman that he was flirting with was the angel of death. So in the final fantasy sequence, right before he dies, there are two things on his mind: death and success. So I find this moment very intriguing. Right after this grandiose performance in his mind, while he's being praised, he can now transition over into death. And at the end, it's perfectly clear what death looks like as he approaches. Which brings us to one of the most brilliant cutaways ever. I just find it extremely poetic that the moment that he finds success within himself is the moment that he's able to transition on to death. It's also a little frightening for me as an artist. This is a great movie that's not appreciated as much as I feel like it should be. It's not even available to stream anywhere. What the f is up with that? Somehow Bob Fosse found a way to express his reality while at the same time giving us the showmanship that he's known for. It's beautiful, it's poetic, and it's masterful. But then again, what do I know? If you're interested in more content like this, support me on Patreon and make sure that I can get even more of these done every week. Hit the link in the description for more. Thanks again for watching, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Be sure to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and all those other social medias. Here, you can check out some of my latest short films by clicking up here in the corner, and make sure you come back next time because I think you're pretty cool. Peace.